updates and cover a couple of answers there. Devin, first and foremost, is progressing. A lot of us will see him again tonight when we leave here before he goes back to sleep. I think he spent a lot of time sleeping, but at the same time he's getting a lot of therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, those type of things. And I'm very proud of the way our players are not only going up and seeing him, but going up there and spending some real quality time now that he's starting to get where he can do more. And going for walks when he goes down the hallway. Yesterday was a big day. He went for 2 walks. That's kind of where we're at right now. But I think our guys, just like our staff and just like Devin's family, are learning that you take absolutely nothing for granted with anything. And as they see their teammate, and as I see this young guy go through these aspects, this was only, I think, the second time in my head coaching career that I've had a player in a hospital bed. We were playing a game. Maurice Creek was our second year, and Devin, and you don't take that lightly. But we know he's in great hands up there. We know he's improving. The whole medical team, the nurses, the attendants, everybody that's with him has been fantastic. I can say that on behalf of their family. And he's dealing with some definite issues inside of his head. We're dealing with a traumatic brain injury is what we're dealing with. And I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor and get specific on that. But I've not been given anything that leads me to believe that he will not continue to improve. And he's definitely making progress. And every day it's unbelievable to see it. So for what that's worth, considering where we were at in the middle of the night on Friday. As far as the guys that didn't play, that were suspended, Max and Jeremiah were not able to play due to injury. But Emmett, Troy, and Stan, I want them to learn a lot of things. I want them to learn that not only is it a privilege to play on the court, it's a privilege to be out there supporting your teammates. And for any of you that ever participated in athletics, in a team sport, not an individual sport maybe, but a team sport where that hurts too. And I may change my mind on that as we go down the road. We'll see. I mean, obviously they're going to set out 4 games, but it hurts when you can't be out there to support your teammates and be a part of that. But I felt like at this point that was part of it, and we wanted them to impact the game. So they kept charts. They had responsibilities that they kept, and each guy had about 30 seconds to speak to the team at halftime, and they had another 30, 45 seconds to speak to the team after the game. And I wanted them to feel a part of it. I mean, there's a punishment here, but at the same time you want them to get some internal discipline and to learn a few things along the way and understand that they can still impact their team. And they're not impacting them in a positive way by not being out there. But we got to find a positive somewhere in that so that they continue to learn and improve. As far as the game, I thought once we settled in, and Nick Zeisloff's first shot almost went through the glass, and there's a tremendous shooter, as you've seen. We knew that was to be expected, our first live action inside of Assembly Hall for quite a few of those guys. But most importantly, very, very excited about the way we got better in the game, and changing defenses got us a little bit of momentum. And we got our legs under us a little bit, and we still have not been a team that has played an enormous amount of 5-on-5. It's been a real process for us, certainly with the situation with Devin and Emmett. I knew for a while that Stan and Troy weren't going to be out there, but with Devin and Emmett, and then Max getting injured, wish I would have played a little more 5-on-5 at times. But I thought our guys have done a really good job of responding inside of the game. I thought we were much better in the second half, even at moving the basketball. And we dribbled a little bit too much in the first half. We attacked much better in the second half. We've got to get the ball into the paint. We had 40 transition trips. We were 27 of 40 for 55 points in our numbers for those. So that was very positive for us. And we just got to continue to get better. The rebounding, we were +7. We've got to continue to improve that area. Defensive rebounding is going to be a challenge for this team, and we've got to continue to understand how important that is to get our bodies on people. And when we do that, we've got a lot of guys that can handle it off the break. So that's important. I thought to be +7 in the turnover department against them and only have 10 in this game with the amount of minutes that guys had to play was fairly positive for us. We can build on that. One of the biggest keys to the game was being plus 29 at the foul line and to go 31 of 38 in there. So I'll try to answer some individual questions, look at the stat sheet a little more, and go from there.
Tom, you said you might change your mind about that, but it wasn't clear what that you were...
Well, just putting them on the bench, letting them sit on the bench. So I'm just saying that I'm just giving heads up before anybody asks why they were not out there. I might have changed my mind on suspension. I mean, I can in one sense, but I wouldn't anyways. But as far as them being on there, not on the bench. Rick.
Are the players going to the hospital as a group, or just
No, we don't do
like
that. We don't do that. They go. They're there all the time. I would say in their free time, they're there as much as they possibly can be. We just try to get them to space it out. So no, we don't. We're not going to go as a group. I don't. That hasn't been since really the first day.
Ken?
What do you like about the team's rebounding tonight? What didn't you like?
Well, we got to make more contact, and we're asking James and Robert and even Nick to be two-way rebounders. You know, and it's one thing to be a defensive rebounder; it's another thing to go get the offensive boards. You know, James and Robert and Nick over there, they have not had to do a lot of that. They've been able to be very effective being basketball players, being outside perimeter players, drivers, and we need them to rebound because that's got to be one of the big ways that we get fouled is to get offensive boards. So we've got to continue to be more active there, more sprinting out of the corners, and defensively we've just got to make contact. It's not about big, long, deep holding blockouts. It's about sticking the man and then going, releasing, and getting the ball and winning those 50-50 battles. So more physical on the defensive end, more active on the offensive end is a short answer to that question.
Justin?
What did you think about James and Rob tonight, just specifically how they came out and really just attacked the basket?
I'm not surprised, and we saw some of that. And were you in Montreal? You were in Montreal. Some of the people in Montreal saw that. I mean, they're very comfortable attacking, and what we want them to do is just continue to be really driving the ball at a high level. One of the better drills that we do for helping our forwards learn how to guard guards, which has been good for us over a period of time, and helping our guards to understand how to continue to move the ball and how to keep the game going and use their quickness to their advantages, go 4-on-4, where the defense stays the same all the time with the bigs, and the only way they can score is to get a stop, and the guards have to score or get an offensive rebound. And a lot of times I'll say, just treat it like it's 4-on-4. You know, playing out of space, it's not about the play, it's about playing out of the corners. We didn't give very many back cuts tonight. Those two got to learn to back cut better. And they move without the ball fine, but it's not just the moving off the screens and the spacing for threes, it's the cutting. You know, that's really important. And to me, that's kind of, they'll just get better. I mean, this is a good start for them. And they did some really good things in Montreal. They play well together. And I thought it made the most sense to start the game that way.
Mike?
For you personally, just how cathartic was it maybe just to put everything this week behind you, just coach?
I'm as concerned about everything today as I am every day. You know, the health and safety of this group, especially where Devon's at right now, their mindset. Everybody was anxious to play. I know that. There was a great, you could really feel it in practice yesterday, that they were really, really anxious to get to the court. And I thought they played that way today. So, you know, my position is I've got a lot of hats to wear every day, and this is no different. It was just game day. So it's another day of my responsibilities, and it's fun for everybody to see the culmination of what they do in practice and their extra work and things like that to be able to get those opportunities to play in a game. And I think this week will continue to teach us anything, that playing this game is an absolute gift. You can't take it for granted, and every game is a single milestone to you because they know they've got a teammate that's laying in a hospital bed that didn't get a chance to play tonight, that would have loved to have been able to play. So I think it's just that same way with me. Every game that you coach, every practice that you practice, you're excited about it, you put your very best into it.
Any update on how Jeremiah's progressing from his injury?
He's progressing, not into a contact situation. He's not in any contact yet. So when he can get to contact and when Max can get to contact, it'll make it, we'll have a little bit more of an idea. Max is more about strength right now in getting his, his mobility where it needs to be from his injury. And Jeremiah's is just really getting more comfortable with the cutting, with the speed. Not that he's a speed merchant, but with his speed and his playing lower. And we're getting closer. Hopefully, I hope we have Max back next week. I think Jeremiah, it's too early to tell.
Rich?
You mentioned James and being comfortable. What's the maturity level for him as a freshman to come in and score 26 points in a debut game?
Well, that's pretty natural for him, to be honest with you. I mean, he is a natural scorer. He is a effortless shooter. And when I mean effortless, he puts a lot of effort and work into it. But his release, his technique, he's so well coached and by his father. And you think about what James Sr. not only as a player did, but he just got done developing Deshaun Thomas before Junior came into the high school scene, right? So I mean, he really knows how to make guys better when it comes to scoring and all the different ways to score. And James has continued to learn. He went to the glass one time on a move and he shot it straight in and missed and went to the foul line rather than using the backboard, which he's starting to learn more about. Could have turned it into 3 points right there. But he's got a maturity about him because he's got a real seriousness about him. He doesn't take himself too serious, and neither does Rob. But they take their craft real serious. They take their academics real serious. And there's no question they're going to continue to get better. And they're young kids, young people, I should say. But so you have to preface everything with that. But at the same time, their mindset towards improving, towards how good they want to be, what kind of teammates they want to be, is really, really strong.
Jeff?
Well, Nick gets 24 to start. What did you see from him? And the fact that you guys get to the free throw line pretty consistently, and he shoots it so well, 90% last year, 10% tonight. How much can that benefit him?
Well, that's a big thing. That's one of the big keys that we talked about when he wanted to come here. It's part of the whole situation with him. Like you mentioned, he's a 90% foul shooter, or in the Missouri Valley last year, but he didn't qualify. I think he was 27 to 30, right? Something like that. He was close. It wasn't even close to being any type of being able to finish in the league standings with that, right? So coming off screens, handling the ball, being in ball screens, getting to the rim. We posted him in some of our zone offense late in the game. Those type of things. He's going to become a more all-around player, a more complete player. I don't have any doubt about it. It was one of the reasons that I was so excited after I watched all of his film and watched every shot that he took from the entire season, and then watched a bunch of game tapes, and you could see that there were places that he did what he had to do for his team at Illinois State, but you could see there were areas that he could continue to expand, and that's what he's trying to do. He's got a great work ethic. His mindset is excellent. There's a maturity about him. He's getting more and more comfortable in a leadership role here, and obviously it's the quicker the better. But I mean, it's on the floor, off the floor, the whole deal. But he's capable of that. So I'm not surprised by how he played, and I'm not also surprised that he shot one off the other side of the backboard when he took his first shot. I mean, he's just this is a big deal for him to play at Indiana. It's a big deal, and it's a big deal in our mind to have him here because he stands for a lot.
Last question, Zach?
Sorry, to kind of go back to Mike's question and maybe use his word cathartic, you talked about the players just being ready to play. How important maybe was it for them, how cathartic was it for them to just be able to get out tonight and just release?
Well, I think it's the next step. I think in the scheme of things right now, I don't think it's been everything that's gone on, that this was the destination point. This just happened to come, at the right time. I mean, they're dealing with a lot, and we've spent a lot of time together, in the sense of different practices and stuff over the weekend, and we spent a lot of time together away from the court, obviously, when we're all up at the hospital, or these 6 guys are there, and these 3 coaches are there, and all those type of things. So obviously that's they love the game. The joy of the game was present out there for them tonight, and now they'll just have something else to go talk about with Devin, and they'll get ready for practice tomorrow, and the 2-a-days we'll take on the weekend, and all those type of things, and get ready for the next one. But I'm sure it was you have to ask them, but they were excited to play. There was no doubt about that. They were also apprehensive, a little nervous, But once they got out there and settled in, I thought they did an excellent job.
Okay.
Anybody else? Good, Rick.
Was Devin able to watch the game on a computer? or
You know, I don't
anything?
know. His dad was here. It was big to his dad for him to come and support. So that's a question I don't have an answer to yet. But I'm sure if there was a way, he did. But I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Based
I'll answer a
on-
couple more.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
all right.
Based on Montreal and tonight, do you think even once you have all the players back from injuries and suspensions, that you'll continue to use these 4-guard lineups at all?
That's a hypothetical right now. We've done it, but I mean, in the sense of, it's certainly part of the packages that we have, and there's no doubt about that. And we mixed different ways of doing it in Montreal. We've done it different ways in practice. You know, what I'd like to see eventually with this team is there's different lineups that provide different packages on the offensive end for us, and certainly there's going to be different things that we can do defensively. And so the key is to develop enough consistent depth that when not just playing guys. And unfortunately, you know, you and I all saw a little too much of that last year, where we're playing guys that we would hope would provide a little bit more, and sometimes didn't always work that way. So but at the same time, you know, when you're not getting a lot of consistency from certain spots, you have to try the bench. You have to go to those places. Hopefully it's a competition all year long to get a really good playing group so that we can increase the fatigue in the game defensively. You know, tonight was a situation, a great example, where we switched defenses in the half court, and I thought we changed momentum, but they were also taking quite a bit of time off the shot clock and running their offense through, and they're running it excellent. He did an excellent job. And so for us, you know, we're going to want to be able to change that tempo. So could it be with 4 guards? Could it be, you know, Troy certainly provides a lot of hybrid opportunities for us. Stan brings a lot of different things defensively. You know, that's not where we're at right now. And certainly when we start thinking about people that can guard really almost anybody on the court right now, like I said before, Devin was coming off his best week. Devin is one of our better defenders. So you just adjust, and we'll see how that goes. But in a perfect world and down the line, certainly we'd like to have that kind of depth with the guards and that kind of consistency, and at the same time be able to put a lot of pressure on the other team.
Colin tonight. Oh, sorry. go
I'm
ahead.
listening.
I was just going to ask you about the activity of Hunter. You've talked about this is his year to step up. You seem like activity-wise he was given.
He was very active, played a lot of minutes. I'm sure it was career high, right? Did he ever start here before?
No, never started.
Yeah. So to me, that's a great. That's great. Everything's kind of new for him in that way. It doesn't matter again tonight. You know, it didn't matter. You know, and that was the thing to the team. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're playing Northwood or North Carolina tonight. We got to be excited to play, and they were, and it was a great opportunity for Hunter to because he didn't get to Montreal, so it was a very good opportunity for him to play extended minutes and to prove that he could do that at this point. But it's all about improvement. It's not about he's going to do this or he could do that. It's all about his improvement and doing what he's doing, which is being consistent on a daily level, or being consistent at a very good level on a daily basis, I should say. One more, then I'll let
Last
you go.
one, Zach.
I was just.
Well, he's got one too. Go ahead.
Colin, 19 minutes tonight. I know he's still kind of easing back in, I would imagine, to full strength. Is that about where you want him? I know you.
Well, in the whole scheme of things, this was way ahead of schedule for him to even be ready, in my mind, compared to where his injury was. So Tim, Janae, Dr. Rink, Dr. Allfeld, they have done a phenomenal job with him. But Colin has done a phenomenal job. Colin has worked like a great mindset of getting better. Did everything he had to do rehabilitation-wise. We adjusted things all summer long for him to be involved in the drills. And even when he couldn't do anything but stand in the corner and shoot, we made a ton of adjustments, got creative with things when we were doing our workouts so he could feel a part of that. And in my mind, he's ahead of schedule. Would the doctors say that? I don't know. So anything right now with Colin is a bonus to me. We're somewhat on a minute limit with him, but in a little bit, it's not specific, but it's kind of based on where he's at. We're not rushing him. But it was great to see him go out there and be active and play with freedom, because you talk about somebody that as nervous as the freshman might have been playing a game, that was a big step for him. And I almost started him to get him out of that, get those jitters out right away, but decided to go the other way, and I'm glad that he had a very active, you know, not necessarily the numbers backed it up, but the activity that he played within those 19 minutes were good. Go ahead, Tom.
Just
want to ask about Rob a little bit. We saw a little bit of time at backup point guard, playing point guard. After his fourth rally, talked to him for a little bit on the bench. What did you tell him, and what did you like out of him?
That was really about, he's got to get his mind around now not fouling out of this game, because we want him to finish the game. And he got caught with his hands a little bit. He got caught, being driven into at the top. So we made a little adjustment defensively, but it was more about him being more alert, moving his feet. We call it stunting, stunting at the dribbler, which is just kind of, stepping his foot. Cat and mouse is a term. It's been used in it. And you just kind of playing with it a little bit where your hands are active, your feet are active, and it just keeps the dribbler a little bit off balance rather than just driving into your body. So his whole thing was to spend the time on the bench, be locked in, okay, but have his mind around how he was going to stay active in the game without fouling. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.